is the 23 News Update at 10.
Taking a negative and turning it positive. A walk for charity in Rockford raises more than $75,000 to shape a future without breast cancer. 23 News reporter Jake Peterson travels to Rock Valley College, where local residents come together to walk and make strides against breast cancer.
On average, 290,000 women are diagnosed with breast cancer every year. And the American Cancer Society wants to change that by hosting a walk in Rockford Saturday morning to support breast cancer research.
Every dollar that we're spending or we're raising is going towards treatment, getting them to treatment, the research of it all.
Funding the future to put an end to a disease that takes the lives of 43,000 women in the U.S. every year. That's the goal of this year's Making Strides Against Breast Cancer walk in Rockford.
I have had family members myself affected by breast cancer, friends as well. That alone is enough of a reason to want to come out and support.
Teams can sign up to take part in the movement. One of those teams is led by Rockford City Council member Gina Meeks.
I named us positive, triple negatives. We're all walking. I got the team. I mean, we got everybody here. And everybody's just celebrating, this walk. In that journey, it's important that you stay positive.
In July, City Council member Gina Meeks was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer, a rare and aggressive form of the disease. She says her personal journey spurs her to help others struggling with breast cancer.
I'm happy to raise these funds, and these are the moments that it really matters. I'm just very thankful for the support.
Since January 2022, the American Cancer Society has invested $71 million for breast cancer research, and Saturday's event adds $75,000 to that cause.
You realize that the statistic of 1 in 8 women are going to find out that they have breast cancer is very true. It's nice to have a place for all of them to come together.
During Breast Cancer Awareness Month, October 13th is nationally recognized in the U.S. as Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day, and October 17th through the 23rd has been deemed Men's Breast Cancer Awareness Week.
Before Breast Cancer Awareness Month was nationally recognized in 1985, the Breast Cancer Awareness ribbon was actually peach-colored to recognize those who had uterine cancer.